Happy Wednesday, y'all. Y'all know me. I'm your host, Shameika Rhymes, and welcome to Soulibration. I am super excited to be here as always. Let me know where you are watching from. Drop that in the comments. Let me know how you're doing. Have you finished your holiday shopping? Are you ready for the holidays? Let me know. Remember to share this with your network. And if you have any questions at all throughout the show, drop it in the chat and we will get to those. So, the holiday season is full of indulgence, stress, late night festivities that can leave us drained and dehydrated and depleted. And I know y'all aren't drinking your water because I haven't been either. So, tonight we're going to take a look into the world of IV hydration therapy. We're going to learn how this treatment replenishes essential vitamins, minerals, and fluids to keep you energized, boost your immunity, and help you recover faster from that holiday fatigue or other things that you may have going on. So whether you're battling holiday burnout or you're recovering from a seasonal illness, because there's a lot of germs floating around out here, or if you're just bouncing back from all these holiday parties and celebrations, I almost said celebrations, these insights on IV hydration therapy will help you stay healthy, hydrated, and ready to thrive. So I'm excited about tonight's guest. It is Veronica Sutherland. She's also known as the NP. She's a leading expert in IV hydration therapy, and she's the founder of Flow Hydration and Wellness right here in Charlotte, North Carolina. So let's welcome V.
Hello, hello.
Hi, how are you?
I'm outstanding, excellent, fantastic. How are you?
Doing well, blessed, and I need to be hydrated.
We all do. We all do.
So welcome to the show. Well, we gotta start this off because I think some people may be a little bit confused as to what IV hydration therapy is exactly and how it helps, especially during this hectic holiday season, but just overall how it helps as well.
Sure. So IV hydration is intravenous hydration, right? So it's actually in your vein. It's not you drinking the water. It's not you sitting in water. It's not you just taking a bath. It's not you jumping in the pool. It literally is when we insert an IV into your body and we infuse macronutrients, right? Zinc, calcium, calcium carbonate, B12, B complex, riboflavin, like all the things that your body's made up of anyway. And it helps to make sure that what I like to call is fill in the holes. So just imagine your body as a fish net. What happens when you pull the fish net out of the water? You catch the fish, but the water falls through the holes. Right. So IV hydration helps you fill in the holes, right? And then that way, whatever you catch, you keep everything. So I like to explain it that way to layman people. So that way you kind of get an idea, a visual idea of what it's doing for you while you're infusing. Doesn't take long. You can get an infusion in 20 to 30 minutes. Does it hurt? It's relative, right? Because nobody likes needles. But what I do say is that I'd rather for you to have a little bit of discomfort on the insertion of it. It shouldn't hurt at all while it's infusing, right? Rather than you end up in a hospital somewhere and really have to pay the price for not taking care of yourself.
So for those that have those hard to find veins, I've had to.
I immediately know.
Well, I just was curious if it's hard to find in their arm because I've had to have actual iron infusions, and so they had to do it in my hand because they couldn't find it in my arm that particular visit. So do you do the same thing, or do you just say we can't help you?
Well, so honestly, most of the time, when you're going to a skilled professional, let me say that again, skilled professional, that's going to insert the IV, right? We're going to make sure that we are inserting it in a vein that gives us really good access, right? Because it shouldn't hurt. It should not burn. It shouldn't be uncomfortable. You may feel it initially going in because it is a needle, and then we take out the needle, and usually what's left inside of your vein is the actual cannula, which is of a plastic origin. So you shouldn't feel it, right? Most people have a fear of IVs only because it's associated with bad stuff that they've seen on TV, right? Sometimes they've had a not so good experience. However, for the majority of people that are getting IVs, it's a great experience and they feel really, really good afterwards. Sometimes we do have a challenging opportunity, right? In order to say heart stick, bad veins, because there are no
Right.
bad veins. If your veins are working in your body, they're good, period, right? They're doing what they're supposed to do. But sometimes we do have a challenge with finding the appropriate vein to make sure that we have good access so that you can infuse comfortably, right?
Okay. Let's see. I want to shout out the people that dropped where they were from in the comments. Hi, Linda from Gastonia. Hi, Michelle
Come
from
on,
New York.
Gastonia.
Yeah. Uh, Sta- Stacia, I'm going to mess it up. Chicago, and Lily from Columbia, South Carolina. Welcome, everybody. Make sure you drop your
Welcome,
comments.
welcome, welcome, welcome.
Yes. So if you're just joining us, we're talking about IV hydration therapy tonight. So, how does IV hydration compare to drinking water in terms of how quickly it restores hydration levels?
So the question is, why y'all don't drink enough?
Basically.
No, so it doesn't compare. So let's just be, I'm a nurse practitioner, nationally board certified. I've been doing this for over 25 years at this point. So let's talk about it. The amount of water that you drink does not compare to having an infusion, and the reason it doesn't compare is because when you're drinking water, it has to go through what your digestive system. Some of
Right.
us have horrible gut health. It just is what it is, right? We have to work on that. On the flip side, when you're getting an infusion, it is 100% absorbed in your vein instantaneously. So you're getting the effects right then. There's no barriers. We don't have to figure it out. It doesn't have to go
Right.
through your esophagus, your stomach, your intestine. It doesn't have to do all that, right? So
Mhm.
with IV hydration, you're looking at, again, instantaneous absorption, 100% of what your body needs, pulling it out of whatever that infusion is. So if you need calcium, your body's getting it. You need zinc, your body's getting it, right? You need B12 for energy, your body's getting it immediately. So there's no, maze that it has to go through, which is honestly one of the beautiful things about being hydrated via an IV, instead of drinking enough water. You're 70 to 80% water anyway. Everybody pretty much kind of knows that common fact, right? But the
Mhm.
problem is, do you really drink enough water? No, you don't, right? Most people are not drinking their body weight in ounces of water. They're
No.
not. And most people think when I'm sick, I should be drinking water. No, water does nothing for you when you're sick.
Really?
No, 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 it's a Skittle. Stop playing. Listen, what you need, right, are nutrients. Your body needs extra zinc. Your body needs ascorbic acid, which is vitamin C. Your body, which is why we say, hey, you go take vitamin C when you're sick. There ain't no
Mhm.
vitamin C in water, which no, right? So as healthcare professionals, that's why we're telling you, take that multivitamin, right? Yes, drink water. It's going to help you feel better. It's going to keep you hydrated. It's going to give you all the things that you need so that your body can work as efficiently as it's supposed to. However, help your body do what it's supposed to do by giving it the macronutrients that it needs to work, right? Some of us want our cars to move and there's no gas. Same.
Mhm.
Your body's the exact same.
Well, you just taught me something new tonight. I was
You're
thinking you got to drink
welcome.
more water like when you're sick.
Hydration is wonderful. It's safe, right? It's sexy. It makes you feel good. And so a lot of people, again, are afraid of what they don't know. So I spend a
Mhm.
lot of time educating, right? Educating African Americans, educating everybody, anybody who will listen to what IV hydration is. Because now, listen, I'm going to say this. Thank you, Kim Kardashian, for making it cool, right? Kim K got it because she got it for whatever reason,
Mhm.
vanity things, and that's wonderful. However, the real deal is let's take care of our body and be well, right? I just don't want to look well. I want to be well. And that's from the inside out. How do I
Mhm.
do that? I need to make sure my body has the macronutrients that it needs to get up and go when I want to get up and go. You want to dance, you want to twirl, you want to cheer, you want to do all the things, but we have to take care of our body.
Mhm. That just reminds me, I think I was just thinking of a couple reality shows where I have seen them doing the IV hydration therapy. Once people see it more often, then they'll think maybe I should try it. So, I want to know in the comments to my co-host in the comments, have you ever tried IV hydration therapy? Let me know because I'm curious. I mean, I've tried it before. I'm just curious if you guys have. Um, yes, Stasia, don't just look well, but be well.
Yeah,
Love
because
that. Love
it's
that.
a facade, right? You can look
Yeah.
good and be very, very ill. People
Mhm.
think, when they see overweight people, they assume that the overweight person is unhealthy. You may have a person who seemingly appears, in proportionate weight size. that literally could be a walking time bomb.
Mhm.
And, so you can't look at someone and judge whether or not they're healthy. I
Right.
can't look at you. Well, I can't because I'm physically, not physically, I'm sorry, professionally trained to look at you and be like, okay, you're dehydrated or you're whatever.
Mhm.
We have ways that we can tell. But the average person, you walking around, they look good. You're like, oh,
Mhm.
okay. But, on the inside, you know, your heart, your liver, your kidneys, your intestines are dying for hydration. And
Yeah.
so, and your brain, you sometimes you're foggy, you're slow to make decisions. You can't really keep your attention the way that you did, 2 or 3 years ago as we age. And a lot of that you can go back to the cellular level of where your body's functioning, and it's because you're dehydrated. And most
Mhm.
people don't realize that. We can cure a lot of things by just being hydrated appropriately. You don't necessarily need a pill for everything.
Mhm. Now, I know what when I'm dehydrated, I know the signs, but for those that may not realize that they are dehydrated, what are some of the most common signs that people should look out for? And especially during this holiday season, because they're out partying and, visiting family, drinking spiked eggnog. I know y'all putting stuff in it, and not thinking about water.
Let's talk about all the things, right? So let's specifically focus on the holiday season. You're
Yeah.
partying a little more. You may be out a little late. You're probably eating a little more than you normally do,
Mhm.
right? And so you want to make sure that you're flushing yourself as much as possible, getting extra sodium out of your body, excreting toxins out of your body as much as possible. A lot of times people dehydrate, they're tired, right? Or you're thirsty and you don't know why, or you're hungry and you're like, I'm eating all the time. It may be because you're dehydrated, right? And your
Mm.
skin is ash, right? Your
Yeah.
skin turgor, which is where if you hold your hand up, I'm gonna do a visual. You hold your hand up. If I pinch the top of my skin, right, and let
Mhm.
it go, if it takes 2 seconds or longer for it to flatten back out, you're dehydrated. That's an easy, quick way for people to, there you go. It's
Okay,
called,
let me check.
so we're checking what we call skin turgor, right? If your
Mhm.
skin turgor is greater than 2 seconds, more than likely you're dehydrated. Go drink some water. And then most people are not drinking their, again, I think I've said it earlier, their weight in ounces of water a day. A day. So that 1 8-ounce glass that you think is enough, it is not, right? And
Yeah.
so a lot of times anxiety comes from being dehydrated, right?
Yeah.
You're again at the cellular level, everything starts with the finest cell.
Mhm.
So how can you expect to perform your best when you're tired, you're not getting enough sleep, you're sleepy? Insomnia is a thing, again, a sign of
Yeah.
dehydration. You're waking up at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, you don't know why. You try in the kitchen, you're, guzzling some Coke, you're throwing in a couple of Oreo cookies, right? We're not really
Mhm.
taking care of ourselves. You think you're hungry when you're actually thirsty, right? We're not walking, we're not moving our body, those
Mhm.
types of things, right? And so a lot of it starts with, hey, let's just make sure that we're being hydrated. So if I'm not going to drink enough water, because a lot of people don't like the way water tastes,
Right.
I'm still trying to wrap my mind around that after 26 years being in the medical field, but some people don't like the way water tastes, right? And so
Mhm.
if you don't like that, then yes, try IV hydration, and don't just try regular sodium water, right? We call that sodium chloride. You want to put some vitamins in it. It's got to mean something. So there are IV hydration drips that will help with anxiety. All right, we have some what we call NAD. There's some peptides that we can add to the solution, or what we call the carrier fluid, to make sure that your body's getting what it needs, right? So we have drips that lean to sexual health. People go, what do you mean? I go, well, there are certain types and combinations of macronutrients and peptides that we can put in the solution to help those love muscles work better, right? And so
Mhm.
you want to make sure that you actually learn your body so you know what your body needs. So a lot of times when I'm doing drips for people, I always ask them, how do you feel? And they'll say,
Mhm.
oh, I'm really tired, I'm fatigued, or my brain's a little foggy, or I'm suffering with menstrual cramps or whatever. And so because I've been professionally trained and I understand micronutrients, I can say I could recommend, this, and this, because these are the things that are going to add that value back to the way that you want to feel. So it's never where, some of these IV hydration places you walk in and it's like a menu. You're like, I want this, and this, like ordering off the
Right.
McDonald's menu. That's not how
Mhm.
this is supposed to work, right? You literally should be doing a survey and asking yourself, what is it that I feel? And what is it that I want to feel? And in
Mm-hmm.
addition to getting this IV hydration, what am I going to do to now help my body perform better? Right? Because
Yeah.
again, we're a microwave society. We want all the things and we want it right now, but you have
Mm-hmm.
to do your part. So if I walk in and I say, hey, I'm really tired, then you're going to be looking for probably B12, right?
Mm-hmm.
The best type of B12 that is closest to what your body makes is methylcobalamin. So if I'm going to add methylcobalamin to a drip, that's going to give you energy. That's what you're looking for, right? But it's
Mm-hmm.
not going to sustain you until. So people want to get one drip and they think they're done. No, it has to become part of your routine and part of your wellness plan for your life, especially during this time of year. People get
Mm-hmm.
depressed really, really easily around the holidays for whatever the reasons are. So there are things that we can do for hydration to help you with that, right? But again, you got to maintain it. So
Mm-hmm.
you got to walk, you got to eat right. You can't have 5 shots of vodka tonic and think you're going to be okay. And that's like, no, we have to detox that liver, right? How do we do that? So those are the things that IV hydration can do to add value to people's lives, especially this time of year. But
Mm-hmm.
it needs to be ongoing. It needs to be ongoing and a part of their everyday routine. I just had a drip myself. I think I told you earlier as we were
Yeah.
talking. I just had a total abdominal hysterectomy. So I literally just did a drip here. I'm in my home. And so for me, it helps with tissue perfusion. It helps, revitalize those organs that are still kind of sleepy from all the anesthesia. It was a major surgery for me.
Mm-hmm.
So those are the things that you want to make sure that you're thinking about as you are deciding about IV hydration. And people think it's a trend and it's a gimmick. No, baby, it's not. It's not. It should be a part of everybody's everyday life.
Mm-hmm. Well, it looks like a lot of people in the chat have tried IV hydration.
Okay.
Yeah, so I see y'all. I see y'all. Um, let's see. Let's see. We talked a little bit about the how it can help. And you've mentioned a little bit. I just want to go a little bit deeper into why IV hydration therapy is more effective than the oral supplements, especially when you're dealing with holiday stress, fatigue, and hangovers. Because you've heard for hangovers, it's like, oh well, drink the same thing you were drinking, or drink some mixture somebody made up that
Yeah.
their
Right.
grandma used to make, or some all kinds of things.
Right. So again, it goes back to our gut health. I mentioned it earlier, right?
Yeah.
So a lot of times you're taking multivitamins and you have, some people take like 30 vitamins a day. I know some people personally. And I always look at them and I go, why are you doing that? Like,
Mhm.
I wish 30 pills, I cannot. So I talk to them about, do you understand the fact that if your gut health is trash, it doesn't matter how many vitamins you orally take because you're not getting the effects, right? Which is why you have to continue to take them every day. And
Right.
so, I talk to people all the time about the quality of the vitamins that they're taking orally versus, the quality and the efficacy of what you're getting if you do it via IV hydration. So again, if you're taking things orally, you have to understand that gut health is going to cut probably honestly 40 to 50% of what you think you're getting, you're not. So if I'm drinking at every holiday party champagne, and I'm a champagne girly, I love a good champs, right? I have
Yeah.
that. I have mixed drinks. I'm now eating hors d'oeuvres and they're fried fat sandwiches, as I like to call them, and I'm putting all of these things in my body, and then on top of that I want to take a vitamin. Is it really going to work? Some
Right.
people aren't as regular as they should be when it
Mhm.
comes to their bowel movements. And so you have to take all of those things into consideration. Again, some people have very high levels of I'm going to say toxins in their body. And so
Mhm.
you have to take that into consideration. So, some people think, oh, my girlfriend took this, I'm going to take it too. And you don't get the same effect. It's because you
Right.
guys have different livers, you have different stomachs, you have different, like small and large intestines. And so
Mhm.
you are not your friend, right? You are a wonderfully made creation and you are unique. And so your body and the way that your body absorbs fluid and metabolizes medication, metabolizes vitamins is going to be very, very different than you or I because you are an individual. And I want people to really lean into that. There's no one like me. So
Yeah.
it can't be cookie cutter, right?
Mhm.
And it's not one size fit all, and it shouldn't be. And so you need to consider when you're taking things orally, whether or not you had the a glass or the whole bottle of something, right?
Right.
Whether or not you got to be honest with yourself, and a lot of us aren't, unfortunately, at times, right? We tell
Mhm.
ourselves one thing and we do the complete opposite.
Mhm.
But I want people to just consider, right? I want to challenge them, but them to consider having at least one drip. See how you feel. Before, journal it, write
Mhm.
down how you felt during, because again, it shouldn't hurt, shouldn't last more than 20 or 30 minutes getting it. The effects of what you're getting differs, but most of the time, most people are going to metabolize IV infusions
Mhm.
within 4 to 5 days, depending on what it is, right? And so you
Mhm.
have to say, okay, I'm going to take time and look at how I really felt in those 4 or 5 days. Did you feel better? Did you feel worse? Am I sleeping better? Is my anxiety level down? Am I eating more? Am I eating less? Do I have a little extra oomph to take a walk somewhere? Those are the types of things that you have to decide if IV hydration is truly beneficial for you, right? If you've got a flu, you're nauseated, you got a fever, you should probably go get a drip because it's going to restore everything that your body is depleting because your body's working hard when you're sick. That's
Mhm.
why your fevers are fluctuating most of the time with the temperatures because your body's really working overtime. Hey, these viruses aren't supposed to be here. We have to get these viruses out. So you have a fever that shows up, right? Because your body really is working. People think fevers are bad. I'm like, no, fevers are good. That tells me that your body's immune system is fighting. And so, again, help your body do better, right? So let's
Yeah.
add some of those things that we need via IV hydration, right? It honestly feels like a bee sting. Feels like a bee sting. If it's done right, you don't feel it. Like I said, it shouldn't burn. You shouldn't be short of breath. You shouldn't have headache. You shouldn't break out into a cold sweat. You definitely shouldn't be passing out. But those are the things, of course, that people have in their head about,
Mhm.
oh, I'm afraid of it. But when you have someone who is, again, trained professional, that's doing it appropriately, we're going to walk you through it. I'm going to tell you everything that's going to happen. So there are no surprises. I'm going to say, hey, if you feel this, or this, you need to let me know. You should never be left alone while you're getting an infusion. I don't care where you go. If the trained professional is doing it, they should be there monitoring you. So that way, if something does happen or you start to feel whatever, they should be there immediately to help you through whatever those issues are that you're having. So if we hook you up to a monitor and we walk out of the room, we're down the hallway, that is probably not where you want to ever go back to, right? So we want to make sure that you're an advocate for your health care. And that's a lot of the problem. A lot of the problem is that people aren't always educated on what's supposed to happen, and so when things go awry, they never
Mhm.
do it again because it didn't work or they had a bad experience. So you want to make sure when you have a drip experience that your drip experience is phenomenal, so that you want to incorporate it into your healthcare plan. I
Okay.
hope I answered your question. I am
You
very
did.
passionate about IV hydration. I don't know if you can tell, but it has saved my life. So I think
Yeah.
I shared with you. I started doing drips literally over 12 years ago before it was popular.
Mhm.
For me, it was anxiety. I had really, really bad anxiety. And I was on anti anxiety medications, but I didn't like the way they made me feel. And as a provider, someone who prescribes them, it's different
Yeah.
from the receiving side of it. So I wanted to find a way my body could function in its best, most optimal way, the way God made it, and not always have to put something foreign in my body. IV
Mhm.
hydration saved my life, and I start there. So that's always my story. I tell people it worked for me. I'm sure it'll work for you. Let's get you educated so you know what your body needs when you need it, and you're not always dependent on a pill for something. And I
Mhm.
prescribe medication, so I do both, but I like to incorporate education and empower people to make the best decision for them.
Yeah. I want to remind everybody if you have questions, make sure you drop them in the chat. I want to make sure you get those, whatever questions you have, I want to make sure we can get those answered. Um, so you mentioned that it takes 5 days to metabolize. So for in layman's terms, what does that mean? Like how quickly can you feel the benefits? I do remember getting, I know I got like a drip that had B12 and something else in it. And I just remember like I just felt like I smelled like vitamins. But I felt like, I mean, I did feel like I had like a boost of energy, but I just can't because it was 2 years ago. I can't recall how quick I felt it and how long that lasted because I unfortunately only went that one time. But I'm just
Did
curious how
y'all
long.
see my eyebrow just raise at
I
her?
know that's what I was like.
And I'm look blackdoctor.org. I'm like eyeing you. So let me say this. So
Okay.
depending on what you get, right? Um, there's an array of how quickly you're going to feel the effects. So generally, I tell people you should start to feel the effects within 24 to 48 hours. That does not mean, especially if you get a B12 drip, right? So you're getting an energy drip. That does not mean that you're turning cartwheels in 4 hours.
Right.
That is not what that means. What that means is that there's a gradual feeling of euphoria. What I mean by euphoria is you will notice that you have a little bit more energy, but it's an afterthought. You know what I mean? So you know, like, I got a little more energy. Let me go sweep the floor. I got a little more energy. Let me, go walk an extra tenth of a mile. It is
Mhm.
a gradual increase of that feeling like I have more energy to do stuff. So if you are completely drained, you're wiped out, right? You've been Christmas shopping, you've been at every Christmas party, right? You may say, I am feeling fatigued. And it's because you're dehydrated and you're drinking alcohol, which dehydrates you even more.
Mhm.
And you're increasing your caffeine, which dehydrates you even more.
Mhm.
And you're probably not getting enough sleep, so it's an ongoing hamster wheel. You have all these things that are depleting your energy and depleting the nutrients out of your body. And so you want to be like, okay, hold on a second. So I'm going to go get a drip. I should kind of feel it within the first 20 to 48 hours, 24 to 48 hours. But I'm not like turning, cartwheels around here, but it's gradual. There's not like a turn and burn. There's no increase and then a crash. It's not that. You shouldn't feel that at all. And when I say it should last between 4 and 5 days before it's completely metabolized. So what I'm saying is that the effect of that increase in energy probably lasts the average person, right, considering their gut health,
Mhm.
about 5 days, right?
Okay.
Which is why you can't just get one drip and that'd be it, right?
Mhm.
So if that's the case, I would be a billionaire by now because I've given quite a few of these, right? But you want to make sure that you put yourself on a plan. So generally, if you're, you know, average level of activity, especially during the holidays, right? You
Mhm.
want to get a drip. Let's just say you get it on a Monday, you're going to be feeling really good by Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. You'll start to be like, okay, I think it's time. And so, what I like to tell people is if you're going to get like an energy drip, so if you get it on a Monday, by Friday, you're going to probably start to come down a little bit. You should have a B12 supplement that you can take orally on Saturday and Sunday. If you have a plan of care established where on Monday, I'm going to go back and
Mhm.
get another B12 drip. Now, if you're exercising a whole lot, we really want to sit down and talk to that individual about what their activity level is. Because again, if you're, doing 2 hour workouts, you're going to metabolize a lot faster than someone who's a couch potato. So you want to
Mhm.
take all those things into consideration. But I have those conversations because you want something to bridge, right? So you're not, getting the B12 drip and then nothing, and then you get the B12 drip and then nothing. So
Right.
again, it has to be a part of your wellness plan. Like, how are you living, right? And so you want to make sure that you consider those things and the cost, because they're not cheap. they're
That
not
was actually my next question. How
they're
much
not
does this
cheap.
cost?
So again, depending on where you are across the country, the average, and I'm going to start with a basic hydration that's just normal saline, right? We're
Mhm.
just we're just hydrating you to give you fluid to uplift your fluid, probably about $100, right? If we start to add things into it based on how you're feeling and the benefit that you want, it can range anywhere from $150 to $800, depending on what you're looking for. So it is a wide array
Yeah.
of what it costs, especially in the geographic location, because what you're paying in LA is not what you're going to pay in Charlotte or New York, or it just
Mhm.
kind of depends on where you are. So what I advise people to do is comparison shop, go online, look at a lot of the accredited IV hydration places where you can go get a drip and look at their price points and actually call them and make sure they know what they're talking about. Ask questions. Say, hey, what's in that? Right? Because we give them cute little names, right? We have a drip called the Turn and Burn. You have no idea what that is,
Right.
right? It looks cute on social media. It's a pretty picture on the website, but you should be able to call. It's just like calling the doctor's office and ask and say, hey, listen, I'm interested in this Turn and Burn. It costs whatever it is. What's in it, and what type of benefits should I have? How long
Mhm.
should it last me? What are some of the side effects of it? Because that's the other thing. People think, oh, they're just vitamins. There are no side effects. Yes, there are. There are going to be side effects with anything that you overindulge in, right? So a lot of
Mhm.
people that want energy, I don't want you taking a whole bottle of B12 supplement. So let's make sure we have those conversations about what could happen if
Right.
things don't go the way that we want it to, and that's about you being educated, and making sure that you're making, again, the right decision for your wellness plan. Because I love my patients and I want them to make sure they're making the best decision, whether it's cost, effect, whatever the benefit is they're looking for. So yeah, you want to, if you have a HSA or FSA account, you want to utilize it. A lot of your insurance companies won't cover it unless it's associated with an illness, which I think is absolutely crazy. They will pay you to be sick, but won't pay you to be well. But unfortunately, that is sometimes how our healthcare system is set up. But those are the conversations that you need to have because, again, if it's important to you, you're either going to spend the money up front to be preventative or you're going to spend it on the back end because you're sick.
Mm-hmm. So, what role because I think about electrolytes. For example, I started going to yoga and was so exhausted the very next day. And then someone said, "Did you drink some water with electrolytes? Because that's why I was just dragging, could not like do anything. I was so tired, dehydrated. But they were, but so now I make sure that, I'm drinking some electrolytes, some water after yoga. Because if I don't the next day, like I am no good. So I'm just
Because
wondering,
your body needs those electrolytes. Again, remember I said
right?
there's water adds no value when you're sick because there's no electrolytes in it, right? So it's the same thing. I was impressed. I was like, she electrolytes? Come on, sis.
Yes,
You don't
yes.
make you a healthcare professional after all. But yeah, so your body does. Like, so when you're sweating, you're depleting sodium out of your body. So we need to replace that, right? When
Yeah.
you're fighting the flu or you're fighting an illness, right? You're pulling out zinc, you're pulling out magnesium, you're pulling out all of these electrolytes, right?
Mhm.
And micronutrients. And so we have to replace that because if not, you're going to be dragging, you're tired because your
Right.
body's like, hey, especially if you're doing hot yoga. The
No,
first time
I
I
don't.
did it, I thought I was going to absolutely die. I was like, it is 1,000 degrees in here. What are we doing? Right. And so, and why do people do this? I'm still trying to figure that out.
Me, I
But
don't know either.
yeah, I don't like to be hot anyway. So, but I always have those kind of conversations with people, and so I say you have to plan. So if you're going to go do those types of things, be responsible and make sure you're giving your body what it needs before, during, and after. Because of what I
Yeah.
saw when I did yoga, especially hot yoga, even though they were saying take a break and drink, those people weren't. And I was like, y'all gonna have a
Mhm.
heat stroke in here, right? I
Right.
literally, and I carry my bag in my car, so just in case there was a medical emergency, I'm ready. But however, I would prefer not, right? And so
Right.
you need to make sure that you are definitely replacing those electrolytes. So your Gatorades, right? Your
Mhm.
Propel waters. And I tell people just kind of, watch the sugar. So if you're gonna
Yeah.
do those types of things, like if you're drinking Gatorade, drink the zero instead
Mhm.
of the regular Gatorade because it'll have less grams of sugar. If you don't like regular water, drink the Propel water because it has, again, electrolytes in it, but
Yeah.
watch out for the sugar. So those are the types of things that I always tell people to look out for, while they're exercising or adding, some sort of quote unquote activity that's going to dehydrate them because we always want to make sure we add the hydration back. So yeah.
Right. So the holidays can also be a time of burnout. You're at the end of the year, you're just tired from work, from people, like all the things. You're exhausted. What other self-care tips do you recommend to stay balanced and healthy during the holidays?
Sleep. People need to sleep. You're burning your candle at both ends. You're trying to wrap up work, trying to wrap up the stuff at the end of the year. So what happens is because you have a vacation coming up, you overwork yourself that last week that you're at work typically,
Mhm.
right? People, oh, I gotta finish these projects. I wanna, because then I'm gonna be off. But then you're so tired, right? When you're actually off, you spend the first 2, 3 days of your vacation time sleeping. So I tell people, don't try to do too much. Do what you can, because guess what? It's going to be there, right?
Yeah.
And so definitely sleep. Definitely, eat, right? Because people are running around shopping and doing all the things and trying to make sure they see everybody, and people are skipping meals. You should definitely, even if you have a protein snack on you, try to eat, right? Some meat, some cheese, right? Make sure that you're, again, getting your water in. You want to make sure that you laugh. You got
Yes.
to laugh,
Yes.
right? Laughter does the heart good like medicine. I truly believe that. So find some laughter. Talk to some people that bring joy, right? It says
Mm-hmm.
we're in the joy to the world season. So find some people that bring joy and laughter to your life. And you want to make sure, and this is kind of, people are going to laugh at me, but if you have insurance, I need you to burn through whatever that insurance is before you have to start over January 1st. Go to the dentist, go get every checkup you can get. Make sure you use all those benefits because that's what you're paying for them for. And again, you want to walk into the new year with a clean slate. So a clean bill of health, or as much as possible. If you've not had lab work this year, go get it done. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's know what we're dealing with so that you can again live in optimal health. I don't care how much money you're making. If you're not here to enjoy it, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. We have a question from Christy Farewell. She says, when you're looking for a provider to do the drips, what certification should we look for to know they are a quality provider?
Oh, there's always one. There's always one. So let me just say this. Certifications have nothing to do with quality.
Okay. Okay.
I can be certified to do a lot of things. That does not mean that I'm necessarily going to give you quality care.
Mm-hmm.
So in addition to proper training, in addition to certifications, because that's easily verified, right? You can go online, look it up. It's public knowledge. You can call the medical board, the nursing board, the board of pharmacy, the board of whoever, right? You can look that up to make sure they're legit. What you want to do is look at the ratings online, the reviews, especially from patients who are singing their praises and also from patients that may have had not the best experience. You want to make sure that you call the offices of the places that you're thinking about going. You know whether or not they have good customer service. I tell my staff all the time that the patient experience starts well before they ever enter the door. So if they're rushing you off the phone, right? They're not asking or answering your questions in the totality so that you can actually understand it. You should take that into consideration as well. So the word quality means a lot. You know, once you're actually in front of a provider, are they rushing you through the visit? Are they taking time to actually understand the question that you're asking, and also answering it in a way that you can understand it? So if I'm communicating to a patient and they're not comprehending it, I might as well be talking to a wall. So I have to make sure that I'm communicating on their level so they can comprehend exactly what I'm talking about, and give them the opportunity to ask questions over and over and over again, and not be so ready to get them out the door to the next patient. So you have to decide what quality means for you. And then based on what it is you're looking for, you have to have a procedure done, the quality of work, how do they look? How is their bedside manner? Consider all of those things. But I tell people all the time that you are the champion of your experience. So, I can say, hey, come see me, as you should, as you should. But everybody's not a Vita MP, right? Everybody's bedside manner isn't like mine, and that's okay, right? Because sometimes I will trump bedside manner over, you're about to, have a major surgery, and I need to make sure that you're proficient in the skills so that, I'm having a great outcome. So it just kind of depends. So again, I would say decide on the quality, what quality means for you, then kind of check off the box, make a list of those things and check off the box and kind of go from there.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. She says, listen, I may make my way to Charlotte. I know that's right, Christy. Come on. Let's see. We have another question. Stasia says, are there people who are not a good candidate for IV hydration, such as people with high blood pressure?
Absolutely. So let me put my Viva MP hat on again as a nationally board certified nurse practitioner who has owned and operated her own clinic. And so assessment is very, very important. And that's how I train my staff, right? We don't have, a lot of issues. And the reason why is because the staff was always trained on how to do a thorough assessment. So everyone's not a good candidate, just like all money isn't good money. Right. Everybody's not always a great candidate for IV hydration. So if you have some chronic diseases going on, right? Hypertension, which is high blood pressure, that is uncontrolled. That means you're not taking medication. You come in, you check your blood pressure. It's something crazy like 200 over 100. You are not a candidate for IV hydration. And what we're going to do is make a referral to a primary care provider for you, because we can't just let you hang out with the blood pressure that high, right? So that's one thing. The next thing is those people who maybe in my clinic specifically, we don't infuse women who are expecting. So if you're pregnant, you're not a candidate
Mhm.
for my particular practice. There may be other practices where specifically, pregnant women who have what we call hyperemesis, they're nauseated all the time, and they have some vomiting. Those particular patients should go to a practice that specializes in hyperemesis patients. That means they're going to infuse while the mom to be is expecting, right? And they're equipped to take care of that type of patient. We also don't infuse those patients who have had chemotherapy within the last 90 days. Again, you have to understand cancer does a whole lot to a lot of systems in your body that you can't see, right? And so a lot of those oncology patients that may be in remission now, that have completed their chemo or their radiation, if it's been within 90 days, we won't infuse them. I will always, contact the oncologist or whoever was in charge of their care to see if we can refer them somewhere else, just in case there's something going on that we quote unquote can't see. But we're going to check your vital signs. We're going to,
Mhm.
do all that. We're going to go over your past medical history. But you have to understand a lot of patients are not great historians when it comes to telling you what they are taking as far as medications. They take the red pill, the blue pill, the pink pill. Yeah, no.
Yeah.
And so and we have these conversations all the time. I'm like, well, honey, it's pink, but that doesn't mean that I know what that pink pill is. There are a gazillion pink pills manufactured by
Mhm.
pharmaceutical companies. And so we always want to make sure that people understand what they're taking, why they're taking it. So we go through a very thorough assessment. We talk about recent surgeries. We talk about whether or not they're breastfeeding, even though they may have just had their baby, because there are some types of drips that I don't recommend if you're still breastfeeding. So that assessment is what's really, really important. And so when you go to, again, qualified provider, they're going to make sure they do a thorough assessment before they just, advise you to get whatever types of drips and start, you know, sticking you and infusing you with things. So you want to make sure that you're the best historian that you can be as well. And it's different if you just don't know something. And again, if your provider starts to question something, usually if I have a question about something, the answer is going to be no.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, this has been so good. So we're out the last question. What feeds
Okay.
your soul?
Say that again. What's the question?
What feeds your soul?
What feeds my soul? That is a great question. So I just took a trip around the world for my 50th birthday,
Ooh.
and I had a soulful moment where I realized that we are definitely here on purpose, for purpose, and through purpose. And so understanding that in every moment, not just one time, but that feeds my soul. And so I enjoy taking care of patients. I enjoy, people, helping them be enlightened about what they're supposed to do with their body and why we have it, and the fact that we only have one and you have to take care of it. So I enjoy people. I enjoy having conversations, and so seeing people smile feeds my soul. I love helping people. So yeah, so I love the purpose. I love the feeling that I get from that, and then knowing that you had a little bit to do with somebody's journey. It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah. I love that. Well, can you let everybody know where they can find you if they do want to come check you out?
Oh, absolutely. So, my name is Veronica Sutherland. Again, I am a family nurse practitioner, board certified, and I've been in practice for. I know I look like I'm 12, but for 25 plus years. And if I don't, just let me think that. That's fine.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah.
and so I can be. You can send me an email at VEETHENP. So VTheNP at gmail.com. I can be found across all social media platforms at VTheNP. Or you can come see me over at Flow Hydration and Wellness, located at 10400 Mallard Creek Road, right here in Charlotte, North Carolina, 704-910-6000.
Yes. Well, thank you, V the MP. This was great, and I'm gonna get back on my IV hydrations, and hopefully my
Yes,
co-host in the chat will too. Um,
yes.
yes, thank you, co-host, for your amazing questions. Thank you again, V. For more information on staying hydrated and trying not to be dehydrated, head over to blackdoctor.org for articles and resources. And y'all, I won't see y'all until after the holidays. So I hope you all have a wonderful holiday season and a soul filled rest of this week and next week. And then I'll catch y'all after that. So have a good one.
Bye.
Bye.